Hello, huge movie fanatic Nate, stopping on by, continuing my videos of movie-related drawings that I did as a teenager. These ones I actually found after the Puppet Master ones you've already seen. Otherwise I would have included them in that video. But it's kind of cool because with the exception of this first one, it's kind of a little bit of a different subject. So it's okay that it's in its separate video. But to start off this particular video, I just want to show this drawing of, this is a really cool drawing of Tunneler that kind of goes with that one from the previous video, the one with he was in color, you know, the one that was colored, and he was standing there with his arms up and his drill was spinning and the blood was coming off it. This is from the same scene from Puppet Master 2, when the point of view from Patrick when Tunneler's coming at him, and it's kind of that angled view. And you know, for being I did this when I was 14 probably, when Puppet Master 2 was new on video. And you know, once again, just like that other drawing, I paused this one on the TV, and this is pretty good, really. It's got that angled, you know, it's like his head is pointing down with the drill towards you. It's got that angled appearance to it. As you can see, I wasn't really concentrating necessarily on the body. I just wanted to get the angle of the head right and stuff. And I think if you pause that scene and, you know, that shot of that scene, I think it does pretty much duplicate, you know, the face and the head part of it. I was going to say head aspect, not head ass. Part of it really duplicate the image on the screen. So 14 years old I drew that, and so there you go. And the rest of these things here I probably did, you know, the same year when I was 14, because when I was 14 Puppet Master 2 was new on video, and you know, loving the first one the year prior, and then to get a sequel, not only one sequel, but you know, part 2 and 3 the following year was really crazy, and I really appreciated it as a new fan of the Puppet Master movies. That was a really fun couple of years to get 3 Puppet Master movies. But these ones are obviously drawings, but they're unique in a different way, and I'll explain. I mean, back in, you know, 1991, obviously there weren't whatchamacallits that they sell now or have sold over the years, you know, replicas, puppet replicas and stuff. So pretty much if you wanted a puppet replica, you either had to make one, which I couldn't do out of fabric and stuff like that, or draw them. So this is, you know, my attempts at Puppet Master replicas at the time. And it, you know, you basically draw it on a piece of paper, and to make it a little more, this way you could like stand it up or lean it against the, you know, wall or something. It'd be like, you know, Pinhead's lurking. This is probably I drew off the Puppet Master 3 poster. And then to give it a little more stiffness so you can lean it up against a wall or something, I taped a piece of cardboard on the back. But once again, I'm pretty sure I did this when I was 14, and I think this really captures the image of Pinhead from the Puppet Master 3 poster really well, for being 14. And once again, this one's even colored, which is really cool. Just got that crouching. I think it really captures, you know, the essence of Pinhead. This is probably one of the early ones I did with the cutting it out and, you know, taping cardboard onto the back. And then later here, of course, you know, beneath Pinhead here, I'll show you what would come later. But I really like that Pinhead drawing. So that didn't really cut it. It was too small and it wouldn't really stand up on its own. So then what I ended up doing are these, and I think it will just go like this and unveil them one at a time. Otherwise, just seeing them beneath each other is kind of confusing. So here's Torch, of course, and same thing, it's drawn on paper. What's really cool with this is, look at that, his jacket, I don't know if you can see this, his jackets and his legs are a separate piece of paper, so that way the jacket can, you know, flow over the pants like it would do in real life. But this is a torch, you know, and I know I didn't include that little thing on top of his head. It's just because, you know, who needs it? Plus it'd just break or rip off if I did that. But pretty cool torch here. And what's great about these, and I made, I think, let's see, 4 puppets total like this. And what's great about these is, just like with that Pinhead one I just showed you, I made a cardboard backing so you could stand it up, and guess what? I taped this onto it, so you could basically, instead of leaning it against the wall, you could basically, if I can make this work, stand it up. Well, I'll show you a picture of it standing up. doesn't really do it on this surface here, but these do stand up if it's, yeah, I'll show you a picture of it standing up. But that way you can just put it in a hallway or just anywhere on the floor that's different, that's a nice harder floor. And then you've got pretty much kind of a torch puppet. It's obviously not to scale, but a torch puppet that can scare you or your family or friends. But I think for being 14, it's a pretty good torch, a pretty good rendition of Torch. And again, you know, this detail is really impressive to see that. And then can't have Torch without Pinhead. We got, I think I made these all pretty much to scale to each other, which is kind of cool. So same thing with Pinhead. And once again, I think the likeness of the, look at how good that face is, or the head. The head of Pinhead's pretty good, correctly colored with crayon. Sweater, kind of clutch fists. Pinhead homemade replica, once again taped to cardboard in this thingy. And I won't even bother doing it on the surface. I'll just show a separate picture of it standing up on a more hard floor. But you've got your little bit of Pinhead homemade paper replica, which I did when I was 14. And this is, I gotta admit, I mean, looking at it now, I mean, this is really cool. And it really brings back memories, I gotta tell you. Now, I don't know why the hell, never really having been a fan of Jester necessarily, why the hell I did Jester. But nevertheless, I did do Jester. You think I would have done Tunneler instead of Jester. You think Jester would have been the last one. And I was trying to remember if I did Tunneler, and I cannot remember if I did him or not. And you know, if he got separated or lost or whatever. You would have think if I would have done a Jester, I would have done a Tunneler, because Jester has never been a puppet that I really cared about very much, because I don't know, he does, I don't know, I mean, yeah, just because I'm not a big fan of clowns and jesters and stuff. So I mean, what he does is cool with his, you know, twisting face and different faces and stuff, but I'm really surprised that I did a Jester one, to be honest. And I think it's pretty good. Obviously, if you're going to choose a face, you're going to choose an evil one. So here's my homemade paper Jester replica. Like I say, the fact that I did this really makes me think I would have done Tunneler as well. And here, this is actually this cardboard is actually like a figure, a Marvel or DC character figure toy, you know, cardboard backing or whatever, superheroes. But again, I'll show a separate image of him standing up on a hard surface. But yeah, I'm surprised I did a Jester. And of course, saving the best, well, not really, but one of the more classic, probably one of the most popular puppets in the series, with the, unfortunately, you know, the nearly 30 years hasn't been good to him. Obviously, if you're going to make a piece of paper and make a hook, it's going to be easily, you know, rippable, which obviously happened along the years, but somehow miraculously the blade survived. But here's my, you know, homemade puppet replica of Blade. Once again, probably when I was 14. I'm sure I did all of these when I was 14, when Puppet Master 2 was new on video. From what I remember, Puppet Master 2 probably came out in like March or April of 91, and then Puppet Master 3 came out, I think, in August or something of 91 on home video. So obviously when I made these, 6-shooter probably wasn't known to fans yet, but this is kind of the pose of Blade in the hallway from the first movie, when he puts his knife up, you know, and scares that one psychic chick. But there's my cardboard or paper drawing on cardboard, homemade paper replica. And once again, you've got the stand that you go like this, and you're able to, of course this one stands, but I'll show a separate image of him on a harder surface of this guy. But Puppet Master replicas, homemade paper replicas. And like I say, let's take a look-see here. I think for the most part, you know, they're pretty much scaled to each other. I think Torch always kind of towered over these guys, so it might be kind of a realistic scale. I mean, 14 years old, that's not too bad. And, it definitely is better than nothing. If you can't actually have, one-to-one actual physical replicas, I mean, doing these on paper and cutting them out and, placing them around the floor is definitely better than not doing anything at all. So thank you very much for watching this video of these, I guess you pretty much just call Puppet Master homemade paper replicas. That I did when I was 14. Looking at this stuff really brings back memories, and it's just like, wow, this stuff is just so cool to see how creative I was at such a young age. Obviously when you're 14 you don't consider yourself young because it's as old as you've ever been, and you're currently the oldest at that time that you've ever been or whatever, but obviously being not older than 14 now, it is quite the accomplishment for a 14-year-old, compared to what 14-year-olds might be doing now, just sitting in front of computers or having their faces smashed onto their phone screens or whatever. So not to say that there's no 14-year-olds out there doing creative stuff. I'm just getting off on a tangent now. So thank you very much for watching this video, and as always, we'll catch you on the next one.